seconds, slicing fast. Ride the wave, don't let it pass. Green and red, they set the tone. Win or lose, I'm in the zone. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine. Every tick's a heartbeat loud. High stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Risk and thrill, it's all the same. One more trade to up my game. Pivots turn, I'm locked and sure. Cut the losses, keep it pure. Every trend, I see the clues. I'll ride the highs and dodge the blues. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine.
Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello, guys. Good morning. Good morning. My very, very first special guest Friday. And look who I got with me. Somebody who's smiling at 6:15 in the morning her time. Truly someone who's a real market junkie. You know she has to be to come hang out with us this early. Welcome, everybody, to Rebecca Trades, who comes to us from Vancouver, Canada, all the way on the Pacific coast there. And she just made a Herculean effort to get up this morning, come hang out with us. I'm so happy to have her. If you don't follow her, her Twitter feed, as you can see, is Rebecca Trades. Really, really fun feed because it's as raw and real as you ever get in trading. That was the thing that kind of really attracted me to talking to her, because literally I've sort of, been stumbling across her feed, and she's been posting great trades, bad trades, just really being honest at how sometimes maddening the whole process can be and how much fun it can be as well. And I just on a lark, decided, hey, let me see if she wants to come in and chat with us, because, her experience is, I think, everybody's experience in many ways. Plus, she's got a lot of really, really different approaches and a lot of different things that she's already done. So it's going to be a great show. Any questions you guys have, feel free to post them. I'll just post them on the screen so she'll be able to see them and answer them as we go. I'll kind of trade in the background with micros just for for shits and giggles for us. First trade of the day here on the NQ. You guys can see it. Today is really not about trading, because Friday we don't really scalp anyways. It's really about talking about trading. So, give it your best shot. Hit me with all your best questions, because she's really got a lot of really interesting answers for us. Rebecca, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. You're right. I'm like Friday, 6 in the morning. Must
Yeah.
love this.
Is everybody still asleep in your house? Or are all the babies asleep in your house?
Yes, that's why I kind of talk like a little bit quieter because if they
No,
wake up,
that's
it's
fine.
game
That's fine.
over.
We can whisper. We understand.
I have
We
my
totally
monitor.
understand. Exactly. Exactly. So, how, like,
Yes.
actually, just sort of like, how does the morning process work with you? Because you told me you like to trade in the mornings, first thing in the morning, because obviously you have you're very busy. How old you have, like two kids, and one is like I think five, the other one is three. They're sort of babies, right? Basically, you're
Close. Three
yeah,
and one.
three and one, which is like even if you've had babies, as some of us have had, you basically have no life until they're like five. So how does what is
Great.
your right? You really your life is not your own at that point. So like you wake up, I guess 5:30 Pacific Coast time to try.
No.
No,
Oh goodness,
tell me,
5:30. No,
tell
I
me.
don't trade. I don't trade until the first 15 minutes of the market has passed. So I don't trade until 9:45 New York time, Eastern Standard Time. So I don't necessarily recommend this, but I get up at like 6:15 and then I
Half hour,
and then I
right?
make a coffee and then I'm at the desk at 6:30 and then I'll mark up my
Right.
chart kind of as the first 15 minutes is happening.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
by the way, do you have your charts in front of you? I'm just not for now, but I'm just curious. We'd
Yep.
love to be able to. We'll take a look at your setup. I'll get off my setup. We'll take a look at your setup and talk about it. But that's good.
Yes, I
So
have it here.
because you've been doing this for a while, and you really do you check headlines? Do you check what's going on overnight?
I mean, not like overnight. Like I don't look until the morning, except for, of
Right.
course, last night when the war was
Yeah.
announced and the market
Like
plummeted. And yeah,
exactly.
I caught,
I
I
went
caught
out to
some
get
of
an
that.
ice cream cone, and by the time I came back, it was I was in the middle of war, and it was just insane. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but typically no. Like I find if I do it too much, I really get like fatigue over it. So
Right. Right.
I don't look at the charts all day. No,
Right.
want
And so
to.
basically, you sort of your own personal process is like, okay, I'm going to do 9:45. I'm going to obviously pass the first 15 minutes of the day. And how long do you go till? Till about 12 noon New York, or
Until my kids wake up. No, I
yeah.
go till 11 New York, and then
Okay.
it's making lunches and you know
Right.
kids
And then
change and all that.
so does that mean you're usually basically doing one or two trade a day setup? Is that sort of like you're a sniper? You look for one or two setups, let it hit, and then go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if I am like if I'm green on the day, I won't come back to the charts. Usually, like yeah, that's kind of a rule that I have for myself. If I
Right.
haven't taken a trade or maybe my first trade was red, I'll come back and look at the charts around 1 New York
Got it.
time.
So,
Yeah.
so there's a sort of a morning trade. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, maybe you'll take a look at the afternoon trade. This is we're all talking about New York time to try and do
Yes.
your trade. So, I think one of the things you mentioned to me was that you said that or at least earlier, I saw that you traded a lot of ES. Like, what's the primary instrument that you're trading now?
Right now, like I'm only trading MES.
You're
So
trading
ES or micros.
MES. You
Yes.
trading the micro S&P. Is
Yes.
that what you said? Okay. So
Yes.
what's the average target stop in points that you're looking on that trade?
Ooh. Ooh, good question. It used to be like 20 points. Now I'm happy with like 10 to 15. I just feel like there's been a market shift and a lack of like how do I say that word?
Continuity.
Thank you. Continuity.
Continuation or
Thank you.
continuity, right?
Thank you. It's early, everyone. Everyone, it's early.
Right.
I know how to speak. And so I'm a little less like risk. Like I wait a little bit less in my trades because I know that one tweet can just turn everything
Right.
against me, or it can very
Right.
much make it go in my favor. But 10 to 12 points, it gets you enough
Right.
for the day.
Right.
For me at
Um,
least.
And the thing about this that's kind of interesting is that you obviously leverage that one trade across, like, I think you told me it was at one time 17 prop accounts.
Yeah, it's still a 17. Still got them.
Still 17 prop
Thankfully.
accounts. Yeah. And the thing is that you have prop accounts with lots of different lots of different firms. So it's going to be, I'd love to know, we'll talk a little bit about all the firms that you have prop accounts, pros and cons of each one of them, and also how you're managing stuff. But so essentially, okay, let's imagine we're going for 10 micro S&P points, which is $50 per contract, right? Basically. Is your average size one micro contract? Obviously, multiplied across all those things. Is it 5? What's the average size on that contract?
It would be like, it depends on the account size. It also depends on my goals for that account. Like my Apex accounts, I would, the goal is to trade those for a while.
Right.
Not like a week. It's, I'd like to invest a month or 2 or even 3 months into it and get a nice payout. So I'm doing 3 micros on each Apex account. And I'm looking for about
and the baseline Apex account, is it a 25? Is it a 50? Is it the standard 50? Or
50. 50.
It's the 50. So just the standard 50 on the micro. So let's imagine, I'm just gonna do kind of a scenario. You're making $150 per $50,000 account, on a good day when you're green, which you need to make like 3,000. So it's like 20 days of work to get to funded stage. Is that sort of your own internal target? I mean, this is all obviously best case scenario, so on and so forth. But is that like reasonable targets of how you try to run the show?
Yes, to get funded or when I'm already funded?
To get funded, or do you get more aggressive to get funded?
Yeah, that's right. So in my other accounts, I've historically been quite aggressive to get funded. But with my Apex accounts, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm going to trade these as if I was funded, as if they were funded. And so I did a little bit more. So I did 5 micros each. And I passed them in 10 green days in a row, which was pretty sweet for me. I was pretty happy about that. So,
and that makes sense.
Usually I just freaking...
Right. That makes sense because I'm lowballing your numbers here. But if you're doing 5 micros, it's $250 per day. 10 days, $2,500. It's $3,000 to get funded. And, obviously sometimes you make more points. Sometimes you make more size. Sometimes you get lucky. So that's all really reasonable and very rational in how you kind of run the whole thing, which is interesting. Have you ever, been tempted, as we are wont to do in my room all the time, to just fund them into like go large and in charge 2-3 trades, you get funded and then you trade them? You ever done that?
Yes, with everything, but my Apex one. So I have other accounts with other firms, and I just would give her. So I would, when I get in a trade, if it was green, I would just add.
Right.
Which I don't recommend to people, by the way.
Right. But
I don't necessarily recommend it.
But if you catch momentum and you add, that's the 1 or 2 trades that takes you to fundability. I just invented a new word.
Fundability, yes.
And you're done. But when you're trading funded accounts, then your approach is much more cautious, sort of more conservative. You just trade that one trade for green, and just to try to build it. And internally, do you have I don't want to say plan, but let's say maybe an expectation? I want to try to get a payout 30 days after I initiate a funded account, or something like that. How do you or is it just like, I'm going to trade, and if I get paid out, I get paid out. I'm going to trade until I get green to the payout thing. I'm just trading towards target, not towards any kind of a P&L day.
It's if I'm being truthful.
Yes, that's why I want you on the show. I want all the warts and truth. Go ahead, tell me.
It's a battle, because naturally we as traders are trading to make money. And so you think about the payout. But I try to think about it in a more rational way. Like, why am I trying to make, $3,000, $10,000, or whatever it is, whatever that payout is, in 5 days. When in reality, I should be treating it as more of like, a couple of things. One, I should be focusing on process, not on the P&L. Two, why am I trying to get a payout every 5 days when, let's say, like in general, someone gets paid bi-weekly? So if you're really treating it like a career, or treating it like a career, and you want to be thinking about payouts, which I don't recommend, it's like, why are you trying to get 4 paychecks a month? Why not try to get 1 or 2? But when I will say, took the long road, but we got here, is that when I focus on the payouts, I trade poorly. So I try really hard. There's 2 brains there focusing on rationalizing the idea of a payout and not even thinking about a payout at all, and just thinking about my process. And when the payout comes, it comes. Because otherwise I make poor decisions, because you get it in your mind. You're like, I'm going to get a $10,000 payout this week. I'm going to get it. Then you have a red day and you're like, no, but this week I was going to get that payout.
Right.
And then you tilt, and then you don't get the payout at all.
Right. Yes.
So I try not to think about them.
No, it's true. I mean, tilt is literally the bane of all of our existence at this point, right?
I tilted yesterday.
Tell me a little bit about you. You posted a really cool feed. I'm actually gonna while you're talking, I'm gonna see if I can pull your feed up, because I want everybody to see it. It's Twitter.
Pull it up. Do you use TradeZilla, by the way?
Sorry?
Do you use TradeZilla?
I do use TradeZilla. Yes. Badly.
Is it off today?
I don't know. I can just check. It's Rebecca Trades, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Trades, 2 A's.
2 A's.
Yes.
Trades. Let me see. Oh, the world's worst typist. So, is this it? There we are. So this is her feed, guys. I'm actually going to post it up here as a link for you guys. And yeah, I know you guys have a lot of questions, and I will get to all of them. We'll go through all of them in a minute. I just wanted to chat with Rebecca. So this is Rebecca's feed, and I think she posted. This is what she posted. This is she posts a you do this. Why do you do this? You do this for self-punishment, or it's just for accountability? Like you publish every single day your full P&L. Now this is obviously, guys, understand, this is like 17 accounts aggregated into one final number, right? So it's not like she's making one trade at 3.2. She's just doing one trade across lots and lots of different accounts. But is this accountability? Is this, what you started doing this and you keep doing this? What's the reason for that?
I mean, I think part of it is accountability. Like, I'm like, frick, I'm going to have to show people that I did this. But on the other hand, I think it's because it's real. Like, there's a lot of people out there who don't share their red days. And I started a year ago, and thankfully I didn't get onto Twitter or X or whatever for the first 8 months of my trading journey. Thankfully, because if I had, I would have seen. Because if I had, I would have seen these people posting like $150,000 days.
Oh yeah. I mean, by the way,
not posting their red $200,000 days.
Okay. Would you say, and I am, I can't prove this, but I'm almost certain that everybody who posts $150,000 days, all that stuff, full of crap. I literally don't believe any of those. I think they're all either massive demo accounts that are manipulated, or maybe influencer accounts where the the prop shop is just letting them do this. Nobody in their real mind. Look at you. You're trading MESs. I'm trading MNQs. Nobody who's a real trader makes $150,000 in a day. First of all, if you're an institutional trader, there isn't enough liquidity. We all know, we see the liquidity on the S&P and NASDAQ. And NASDAQ is 5 up on every single level. That's 5 NASDAQ contracts. To do $150,000, you got to do 100 contracts in and out. Nobody's going to fucking do that for you. So, that's why I really like people who trade for real. And the way you can tell that they trade for real is because they're actually showing realistic numbers. Anybody who shows you $100,000 a day, full of crap, in my opinion. But anyways, you're right that you would have been influenced by that nonsense of the Lambo Furos, as I call them.
The
And so you
Lambo
didn't do
They
that. And
lease
then,
their Lambos.
sorry,
I said they lease their Lambos.
they lease their Lambos, right? Like they lease everything. So so you didn't the first, you were just like 8 months you were just trading by yourself. And were you using TradeZella at that point? Were you kind of using it for your own accounting purposes?
Yeah, so I've used it basically since the beginning. I have been a part of a group and we trade, so that was nice. But I was not on any social media. I only just started on social media in November, end of November.
Okay. And you started posting this, and I think probably I would imagine people are kind of responding to like the real aspect of your feed, which is that not every day is sunshine. Tell me a little bit about yesterday. What was the reason for tilt? What happened?
I thought I was right. I did what that's the word, that's the answer. Over the last, a week, we've seen kind of a pump at the beginning of the day and a pretty big sell off near the end of the day. And
Right.
I only short the market. Short the market.
Could you talk to us? This is fascinating to me because one, I wonder why you do it. Two, I'm like really surprised. Like the stock market, the equity market is a long only instrument.
Yes.
Like I'm going to show you guys how much of a positive tilt it is to be long in the equity market. In just 1 second, I'm going to try to find the statistics for it, but it's crazy. It's literally 70% favorability to be long rather than to be short. So you are in the minority of all minorities. Tell me why you do that. It's fascinating.
I mean, if I was a swing trader, I probably would just buy and hold on. But why? Because two reasons. When I realized that when I was in a long, I had a really hard time staying in it. I had a really hard time like sticking out the stairs upwards. And I would get shaken out by every little pullback. And so I was just accumulating loss after loss after loss because I just couldn't sit through it. And then I noticed that my shorts, because I have my setup, and when I'm right, right away, like with shorts. When my setup is right, more or less, within like 5 minutes, if not the next candle, because I trade on the 1 minute chart. And I was doing really well in them. And I was thinking, I just am anxious when I'm in a long, and you don't want to trade anxious.
Right.
And so my coach at the time was like, why don't you look at your stats? And so I looked at my stats on TradeZella, and it was like 6 months worth of trading, just small size as a beginner. And it was like longs minus 10,000, shorts plus 10,500. So it was like complete opposite. And I was like, and I just said, I'm going to do shorts only for a month and see how it goes. And I've never gone back.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, the thing people, I think many people don't appreciate is that trading is not about a system. Trading is about a system that's right for you. Like you guys see me all day long taking 1 miserable point out of the S&P all day long, where everybody else in my room is taking 10 and taking 20. And it's not that intellectually I don't appreciate the fact that I could be taking 10 or 20. It's that psychologically I'm much more comfortable taking 1. So it's really not about, there's 1,000 systems that work, but there's only 1 or 2 systems that work for you individually. And I think that's probably one of the most interesting things that I've had to learn about the trading journey. And that's why I always keep telling you, when we trade, this is just my example. Your structure should be completely different. There are guys in my room where I'll make $1 on gold and they're like making 15 and laughing at me all the way to the bank. And I'm very happy. And I'm really, really happy because it means they've discovered the right way to trade for them. And you should all do the same thing. Like it's when I heard the Rebecca trade short, even guys, I love to be on the opposite side of the trade all the time. My greatest weakness is I always want to buy dips, sell rips. Even I was shocked because I know the statistics. I'm actually going to see if I can pull them up for it. So while I kind of look around, tell us first of all the prop firms you have, and being diplomatic but honest, all the prop firms you have accounts with, and tell me
Okay.
the advantages, disadvantages of each. Like what's been your experience with them? Because they're really very, very different. There's just like people, there's incredibly different personalities amongst the prop firms that we have in the space.
Yes. Yes. So I have accounts with Apex, and this is my first ever time trading Apex. So I don't really have much to say, except it's been fine. Haven't run into
Right.
any issues because I haven't needed to. The other prop firm I trade with is Tradeify, and I got with them from the beginning, and it's been, their growing pains were minimal. They're always they always pay out. Like if you follow the rules, there's no issues with that. The rules are pretty standard across the board. I don't use the Tradeivate platform, and I'll tell you, we'll get into what I actually use to trade. But I like them. There's no issues there. Their growth challenge account is the cheapest out there on the market. So it is my favorite account favorite challenge account that I trade. And I actually have the most payouts from Top Step, but I have the most dollar amount payouts from Tradeify. So there's that. I don't trade with Top Step anymore. There's no particular reason. I probably will go back to them. That's all. And then I feel like this is like reading like an encyclopedia. It just never ends. And then I trade with Top One Future. So they're relatively new to the game. They have had a rocky start. I will not lie. They've had a rocky start, but they pay out, and they have a Forex company that's been around for over 2 years. So I feel confident that it's going to stick around, but it's definitely one of those ones that people are skeptical of, but I've never had an issue, and I love the Project X platform. And then the last one is the Futures Desk. So I just started streaming with them. I really love them. They are a completely different ball game. They're different. So
what's different about them? Yeah.
You can, I'm trying to be articulate. You can tell that they're not out there to get your money by watching you fail challenges. They're really a prop firm that I feel really truly stands in the trader's corner. And I have felt that from the beginning. I just started streaming with them this week, but I have been with them for a while, and I have felt that from the beginning. I talked to the CEO before I bought an account. Like it was, and he chatted with me and walked me through it. Their process is that you take you pass an evaluation or assessment, or whatever you want to call it, and then once you're done that, you're in a sim, like you're in a funded kind of situation, and then once you build your buffer, like you go directly into a live brokerage, and then when you build your buffer, then you can start like getting your payouts daily and uncapped, and I don't know, their journaling is incredible.
That's right. They have a sort of a payout as you go type of a structure versus the other prop firms that have set times when they're going to pay stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm big.
Is there trading rules differential? By the way, guys, just to let you know, you see, I have a chart here. I could probably get it. Let me do 200 just to kind of show you. You need to understand the green is by decades, by days, by weeks, how many up days there are versus there are down days, right? So if you look at the recent years, it is insane. Like these are odds that Las Vegas would just salivate over. You're talking about 15, 16 percentage point differentiation between up days and down days. So there's incredibly positive tilt to the equity market. That's why her trading the red side, which is naturally, the negative side, is very tough. But of course, she's doing it on an intraday basis when things are easier to kind of pick the turn. But anyways, coming back to which firms have easy trading rules, which have hard ones?
Easy. So the futures desk is I would say the hardest for sure. Um, just because you get to build your own plan, so you get to choose your own rules.
Right.
But they definitely their consistency rule is really tough
Yeah.
because they don't let you. It's, I mean, I guess it's the same across the board. The consistency rule is the same across the board, but most prop firms don't have consistency rules in their evaluation phase, and
Right.
the futures desk does.
Right.
But then the process to live is much shorter.
Right.
So it's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
like that.
So
Yeah.
I've heard it properly summarized, and I think it's a pretty accurate prescription of the whole prop business, that you can either have a firm where you have easy rules to get to funded stage, or you could, and then it'll be harder to get funded, or you can have a prop firm where you have hard rules to get to the funded stage, but then the payouts are a little bit easier.
Yep.
I
That's
don't,
exactly right.
I don't really know which one is better. I think it all depends on your personality. My view is I always want to get to the funded stage. So, I mean, one of the reasons why we love Apex is there is, in my opinion, no firm in the world that makes it easier to get to the funded stage as long as you know how to do it. And that's,
Right.
that's why we get it. Once you're in funded stage, you do have to have exercise a huge amount of discipline. But I think honestly, it's a six of one, half a dozen of the other. It's very, very difficult to get paid out of any firm because their whole job is like the insurance company. Their whole job is not to pay you out. They're in the insurance business. They're not in the payout
It's
business.
true. It's
So,
true.
it's your job to then manage it. And that having been said, so it's everybody's personal preference. What I wanted to, the other thing I was going to ask you is the shift in business now from what's called straight to funding, which is Tradeify came in and they revolutionized the business by saying, hey, you spend a lot of money, like it's literally 10 times the amount. Like I can buy an Apex account, which I'm going to put a link in here for you guys right now because they're still running a huge discount. I just bought like 2 of them last night because of course I tilted on the Iran Israeli news. I had to tilt 2 accounts before I finally got it right. But at $20-$30, I could give a flying F, right? It's really, really cheap. With Tradeify, it's $300-$400 just to when you're coming into poker, it's the buy-in is $300-$400. That's a lot. Like if I have 10 Apex accounts, I have almost 99% confidence, or let's say 97% confidence that I will fund at least 1 or 2 of them. Probably, I'd say if I'm doing a good job, I will fund 3 of them for the $300, that I spend with them. Whereas you have like one chance with Tradeify to fund that, to basically fund that account. So how do you deal with those differences, both in terms of price and process?
Yeah, so I definitely went too hard on the straight to funded when they first came out, and then I was feeling a lot of pressure to get a payout because I spent too much money on these accounts. Now, first of all, I keep my costs what I can afford if I
Right.
didn't even have trading. So there's that. But like with Tradeify, and like I said, I love their growth account. It's like $73 because there's no activation fee. So it's a challenge. There's no
Right.
rules. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There's very limited rules. You can pass in a day. And
Right.
then it's $73 and you don't activate, you don't have to pay an activation fee, and then you get your account if you pass it, right? So those are my favorite. I don't buy
So, sorry, is that a
unless there's a
50?
huge deal.
It's a 50K account for 73. Without.
Yep, I
So
think so.
I mean,
Well,
is
with the
that right?
discount, sorry. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
with a
Right now,
discount.
it's with the discount, it's probably like 80.
Right. Okay. Still, that's pretty reasonable because it's certainly a lot cheaper than $300. To get to the to the funded stage.
Yes.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
and that makes so it's, ironically enough, you kind of proving my point because you went you amongst the panoply of choices that Tradeify is offering, you're actually going for the cheaper account to get to the funded stage than trying to spend a lot. Because I did think about this and I was like, man, if I went to straight to funded, and you burn a couple accounts, that's like $1,000. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's money. You start feeling it. Whereas it's 20. I could go through 4 accounts on Apex, and it's less than what I pay for dinner in New York City. So it's like
Yes.
it's a huge difference in terms of in terms of your approach to this thing. Not that you want to be, um, uh, basically dismissive of all of it, but yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so before I get to the questions, do you want to take the screen from me? I traded a few times, guys. You saw my fills. You saw my fills on NAS, right? I took a short, I took a long, putzing around. But let me turn the screen over to Rebecca, because I'm curious. You don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to tell us the whole story. But seriously, there is no secrets in trading. There's just secrets in execution, right?
Yes.
So feel free to. So I'm going to stop sharing, and oh, there you are. Oh, actually, you know what? I can add you to the stage. Let me do this. Stop screen. There we go. Now we got your screen on here. So this is a very, very clean screen. There's just no indicators on there whatsoever. It's a 1 minute chart.
It is a 1 minute chart. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 1 minute chart. I have, well, right now, yes, it looks pretty clean. I have the 15-minute opening range high and low here with the yellow bars. This VWAP.
Sorry, you mean the yellow dash line is the 15-minute, and what's the white dash line?
That is my software that I used to trade all my accounts at one time.
Oh, okay. All right. So, that's just this is an entry price or something, or?
Well, that's just, I can just move that. That's just there. It doesn't matter. That's an exit. So that's an exit.
That's an exit. Okay. So it's not any kind of a deal. So we have 15-minute opening range high low, and you are just looking at price action. You're a pure price action trader. 1 minute chart.
I use VWAPs as well. Yeah. So VWAPs and
VWAPs. Oh, my friend Dawson Silver, Mr. VWAP. Yes.
Yes, Mr. VWAP.
So sorry, there's a red line, there's a green line.
That's my entry. The green line is pretty useless. I don't really know why I have that on there, but it's the average daily range. So there you go. It doesn't need to be on there. I do use also ATR, which I just don't have it on right now, but I have ATR on here to kind of give me an idea. I look at it on a daily and see, on average, we're only moving about 90 points a day. So it helps me kind of gauge,
yeah, what's the possible extension? What's the possible reach of the move, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's it.
What would your trade be? Is your trade are you doing a breakout or a fade out? Are you fading the 15-minute range, or are you going with it?
Usually I'll go with it. So one of my trades here, for example, is what I'd be looking for here is a breakout of the opening range and then a pullback. So I wouldn't chase that break. So breakout of the opening range, and then as it pulls back, I anchor a view up to the low of day, and then I want to see it bounce off of the low of day of the New York session, and then I'd like to see it either bounce at the opening range low. Sometimes it pulls back to the New York view up and then break out again of the opening range low with a break of the low of day view up. That's probably my favorite entry that exists. I also trade from top of range to bottom of range.
So because you're on the short side, obviously, so let's say it goes to top of range. What would be your entry criteria? What's a step one, step two?
I'd like to, so because this weekly VWAP is here above us, that makes me kind of aware that price could come up and test this. So I would also look for a short potentially off of the weekly VWAP, but basically I want to see it break outside of the opening range, kind of maybe bounce around a little bit. It's not making huge highs. It's going to bounce in and then it breaks back into the opening range, and then I'll short there, but put the stop right above the high.
If the 1 minute candle closes below the high of the opening range, is that your entry after it bounces around? Yeah. Okay, so that's your clue, and then is the stop at the swing high basically, or some swing high plus X amount of volatility, or what's the stop there?
It's at the latest structure high.
Latest
structure. Trying to find an example.
Latest structure high meaning the latest swing high. You're talking to a boomer, so we're not going to talk about ICT, which is just the basic.
I don't trade ICT, so don't worry about that.
Huh? What's that?
I don't trade ICT, so don't. I know. Worry about that.
You know the joke. What does ICT stand for? I can't trade. No, but when you're saying structure high, is that sort of the swing high that it makes against that 15-minute range, or what is a structure high defined as?
Let me show you this trade, for example.
Yeah.
So we have the 15-minute opening range high and low. We
Yeah.
see kind of price breaks out,
Yep.
and it happened already once before. It tries to
Right.
get higher, breaks back in. I
Right.
didn't
You
actually
short
take this
there.
trade because, but you short here, and then realistically, the stop could have gone here. But
Yeah,
sometimes I like to
that's
give
what
it
I mean.
a bit more breathing room. Yeah, and then it
Okay.
went. So
Got it.
That's
Got
kind
it.
of
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean about sort of like the most recent swing highs, maybe plus X volatility against that, and you just let it breathe. And like you said, because you're trading momentum, it either goes. You kind of know within the first 4 or 5 minutes if the sellers have control or if the buyers have control, right? That's kind of
Yep,
what's
yep,
the
yep.
average duration? Obviously, every single trade is different, but sort of what's the average duration of trade for you? Is it 45 minutes? Is it about an hour?
look. Let's look. Yeah, so I just looked here on my top 1 accounts, which I've only been trading them for like 3 weeks, so maybe not the best indicator, but it says the average trade duration is 42 minutes.
42 minutes. Yeah, makes sense.
Which is a lot. It used to be like 16, but sometimes I just have to set my trade and leave because I got to take my kids to school or my one kid to school, or whatever, right?
Okay, so here's my. I don't believe in superstitions, but I do have one superstition. I wonder if you're the same way. You know how the expression a watch pot never boils, right? You ever heard that expression?
Yes.
So my color to that is a watch chart never TPs. Like if you're in trade and you're watching that chart and it's just coming in ticket, within a ticket. Like I literally, when guys know when I trade live and I'll put a trade on, I will forcefully go to a different instrument. I'll say, fuck it. We're going to go look at gold now because I don't even want to look at this trade. The more I look at this trade, the more I'm going to get anxious about whether it's going to TP or not. And usually it always TPs off chart. And I come back and I go, oh, look, we TP'd. Wonderful. Like not that it always works, but I find that psychologically watching your trade is probably the worst thing you can do. Just you have a process, you took the trade, hit it, and then go away, right?
Yes. And what I say is if you're sitting there stressing over that trade hitting your stop loss, then you are sized in way too big. You probably need to cut your size in half. If you're not able to leave your trade without, losing your hair, then you're probably in too big.
But even if you're not too big, you're just going to be stressing every tick against you. You're like, oh, I'm wrong. You just the actual process of watching the trade creates huge amount of negative. Very rarely do you hit the trade. It's literally the highest tick or the lowest tick of the trade, and it's just like smooth sailing. Even then, it's almost anticlimactic. You're like, oh, this was too easy. Let me try it again, and then it just gets you into a bad cycle. I think the irony of the whole thing is that the worst thing you can do when you're trading is to actually watch your trade while you're in it. Let it go.
Yeah. Let it go.
Let it go. Exactly. Well,
let it go.
If I have to hear that song one more time, I'm going to shoot my brains out.
I know.
So, you're trading lots of different prop shops. Is it a single software? This is a question that I'm sure everybody's interested in. What is it? How do you manage 17 different accounts? With I'm assuming it's a sort of a single click entry, but maybe it's not.
It is. So I use a software called Traders Post.
Traders Post.
Post. They actually invited me on a podcast and then just talk about me. And then I inquired kind of like off the scenes, like about their software because I only read about it, but to actually see it in action, they showed it to me. I was like, I love this. And so we got me set up on it, and I have a 20% off code if anyone wants it.
That's okay. Feel free to post it in there. Is this?
But I don't even care about that. I think it's amazing.
Okay. Is it traderpost.io? Is that the
yeah. So if I show you, I can show you the back. I can show you the back end, which is not hiding nothing. So this is my Traders Post. So I can see all my Apex. I'm not in a trade. Otherwise, I can track like how it's doing.
Oh wow!
Here.
So this software has APIs to all the prop firms. Like you can connect all of your it basically, I guess you log in with your credentials to Apex and you log into your, so like literally every, oh my God, holy
Here's the
cow.
prop firms that they have right now.
Wow. So these are
So
prop
they're the-
firms plus brokers. I'm actually curious. Do they have AMP futures on there? I'm just curious because that's my other broker. These are prop firms. No, AMP futures is an actual broker. So go back to brokers. So what do they have on brokers? They have Tasty, they have Ninja, they have Trade of 8. They have Baby. So they don't have AMP, but they do have Trade of 8. That's really cool because I actually
they have Trade of 8.
I just did open up an account. They have Interactive Brokers, Binance, Kraken. Yeah. Wow. Cool. This is really cool. But, obviously their biggest portfolio is with all the prop firms, which is kind. So you come in, you do your user settings. Yeah.
Yeah. So you come in, I have a YouTube video about exactly how to do this, but you connect. Right. For example, I have them all connected, but for example, you Trade of 8 and then you pick which prop firm and what am I losing? Apex, for example, and then you choose if it's live or eval, and then it just connects right to Trade of 8. So obviously yesterday Trade of 8 was down. I had a bit of an issue, but that was Trade of 8 being down. So let's share this so I can go into my account without sharing information.
Yeah, we have a question from Lee, who's actually it's a pertinent question about this. Have you ever timed the execution from Traders Post relative to, like, let's say doing direct? Is there any kind of a lag in your execution?
No, it's pretty instant. So what I do here, I have it set up as alerts. So like this, I'm not going to click it because then it activates. Right. I just don't want it to activate right now because I don't want it to enter. But this red line that I have on here, I have it set to, so it connects through a webhook. So I have it set to enter on the down crossing only.
Right.
It only enters once. And then I have different sizes depending on the accounts that I have.
Right.
And then I drag and drop my exits and my entries, and that's my exits and my take profits.
Is this are you actually, is it entering automatically for you, or is it giving you an alert and you are entering manually? It's actually it's a fully roboticized entry.
Yeah.
Or it's an automated entry. I'm sorry, my English is a second language, right?
It's an automated thing. Yeah,
it's an automated. So basically, you create a rule set for it, and it will enter on it. Interesting. That's really interesting.
But it has to be activated. So for example,
Michigan 60.5 against 53.6. That's why we're seeing the pop in equities. And just letting you guys know. Just saw that come across. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too.
Yeah.
So
that's very interesting. So basically, you've literally automated your entry process. You're not even looking for an alert to manual. You have a fully automated structure.
So you can see here now that is active here. So if this price comes across, it's red. If the price comes across, it will enter. But I'm going to pause it because it's obviously not my entry. So you have to be quick and you have to remember. Just like with Trade of 8, you don't want to leave things on, limit and buy on.
Right. There's nothing. God knows how many times I've left the wrong size or the wrong thing on there.
Yes.
And that's always my favorite. It's like, when you meant to be 1 and it's actually 10, and you're like, oh God damn, I'm in 10. And just having to work on it. Right.
I think that they kind of. Mm-hmm.
So this is very interesting because this allows you to have that scale. This allows you to have that, sort of scale it at a click, which is really interesting. Now, have you, we tend to trade the other way, which is, I like to trade one account at a time because this way, you can only butcher one account at a time is sort of like my attitude. Have you done it both ways, or have you always wanted to scale right up front? I'm just curious your experience with all of this.
I have done it both ways. And I think that there's pros and cons for both. For me personally, I just don't have that much time on the charts. So because I only have really an hour, maybe 2 to actively trade, I'm like, and aside from yesterday, I am pretty good at walking away with a small loss. So even though there are losses, and you have to get over the fact that your losses are going to seem a lot bigger.
Oh,
This
just
is an
because they're
interesting.
across 17 accounts. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
But I'm just all about that copy game. I mean, to be fair though, like I've had 12 payouts maybe. Like I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who's never had a payout.
Hmm.
And so like get a payout
Right.
first, try different not strategies, try different risk management, try different things.
Right.
And then once you find that you're like, I got this nailed down for the most part, then copying could be
Right.
something to explore.
How much? I'm just curious. What's the monthly cost for Traders Post?
So with my 20% off, actually, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's, let me look. And I've talked to them because I
I actually have it on my screen here. Pricing. Oh, I see it. It's
I think it's like,
it's about 50 bucks a month for
yep.
Depending on the size, on the amount of accounts, and I guess it goes to like $250 a month. I mean, yeah, it's not it starts to scale up. I'm actually curious, like you don't have to give me the exact number. I'm just curious, how much money do you spend on evaluation fees per month these days? A couple of $1,000, what's your, or is that a painful question?
No, it's not a painful question. I would say so. Actually, here's the answer. I don't know, and I should know, but it's not an exorbitant amount. I had so when I traded Top Step, I kept my XFAs for like 5 months. So I didn't spend anything because I didn't expand. So I had my costs for nothing for about 4 to 5 months.
Right.
With Top One coming out, they had such a good deal on their straight to funded that I kind of went a little bit too much. I bought a little bit too many accounts because I was afraid that I was going to lose them. But I'd say I spend less than $1,000 a month
Okay.
on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's fine. I mean,
If my husband's watching,
I think if you
$100.
if you keep it $2,000 or less, then you have a manageable habit. If you're above 2,000, you have a problem. Then
Yes.
you need prop trader intervention. We need
Right?
we need to calm you down a little bit as far as
Exactly.
that goes. But that's the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's funny.
The guys want your discount code. I'm sorry. I'm
No.
interrupting you on your discount code. Give them your
Oh my gosh,
discount code.
it's totally
They
okay.
all-
My code is Rebecca, but I sent you the link because as of right now you have to use the link, so you can post the link. But it's just
Wait,
Rebecca. It gets you 20% off
Where did you send it to me? In where?
in the private chat.
Oh, in private. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me.
That's okay. I will say to everyone, this Traders Post was originally like for personal accounts and for algo trading. Like you can automate your strategy and just leave it, which is great. But I don't do that because a lot of prop firms don't let you do that, right? So So they have recently in the last like 3 months, I would say, really shifted their focus to prop firms, and I'm helping them with that, just by like just chatting with them and being kind of like a feedback person. So I've told them, I'm like, prop firm traders don't need fancy features. They just want to copy more accounts. So we're working on adding more accounts.
Are they creating sort of like a manual, press the button, hit your trade type of thing off the charts? The other people asking, is this a trading view chart that is built into Trading Post? Like it is a trading view chart.
Yes.
Okay.
So they connect all the prop firms through TradingView as the hub, but you can also trade directly on their platform too. They're not a broker, but you also, I just don't. But it is nice to have as like a contingency plan in case like, TradingView for whatever reason has an issue. You can go in directly and shut down your trades in their account.
Right.
But yes, you execute through TradingView.
Okay. The interesting thing is because we have proprietary indicators, as you can see, both on TradingView and on wealth charts here, like on my stuff here. Wait, where am I? Hold on. Oops, I just went. Sorry, let me add you. Let me just add my stuff. It'd be interesting to see if they allow proprietary indicators on there. Like I don't know if it's a if it's a full Trading View version or whether it's like a white label Trading View version, because then it doesn't
No,
allow
I
you
think
to
it's
do.
full.
It's full.
As long as you're
Okay.
in, like, it's basically it's triggered through an alert.
An alert. Yeah. So then it triggers
Yes.
through an alert, right? Which is a
Yeah.
webhook through Trading View. Yeah. Kind of cool. Kind of
Yes,
cool.
exactly.
So that's her. That's her.
Let me
Let me do
I'm
remove
going to share
me.
this with you as well because I saw someone ask. I'll put it in the private chat. This is the
Yeah.
tutorial walking me through setting my account up. There you go.
Okay.
And
I'm
that's
going to
my
put
YouTube
this.
channel.
This is Rebecca's. Rebecca has a great YouTube channel, also, guys. So feel free to go get her on the channel. Let's take a look at what everybody's asking here, because there's probably a ton of questions that I totally ignored. Yeah, there's a YouTube video. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on webhooks on how to do this. It's
in that
actually pretty
video.
easy. It's pretty easy. I've done this a lot. With other stuff. I mean, everybody loves automation. I will say that the kind of stuff that we do does not lend itself to automation. So don't get all. But other versions of BFF could certainly do that. Somebody says we need more tutorial videos. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. What questions do we have? Yeah, multiple. I think you've answered that one. These through a single person. Oh, look at this. Karen says she's on Vancouver Island. So you have a.
I love Vancouver Island.
Over there, right? I want to. I want to talk about tilt process, because I've actually deconstructed my own tilt process, and I'll walk you guys through it, because I really thought about this very seriously. Especially yesterday was a really good day because lots of volatility, Iran-Iraq war. You get you get in. If you can figure out exactly how you blow your account, it's actually more valuable than figuring out exactly how you fund your account. So I'll give you mine, and then maybe you can walk me through your tilt process. So Here's what happens to me. I'm in trade, right? Remember, we're trading with very negative risk reward ratio, right? So I'm in trade. Trade gets stopped, right? I then hate the fact that I gave back so much of my P&L, and instead of waiting for the setup to reoccur, I'm impatient and I just simply increase size and try to reverse myself. Now, sometimes that works. You go back to to being flat. You have you have that relief of anxiety, tension, and you go back to trading, and 4 or 5 trades go by and you're fine. When that doesn't work, you then get really pissed and you go to final size, and you're not even looking for a setup. You're just looking for any blank rage trade, and you burn the account. Like, that is a sequence I do all the time. I'm sure if you guys are honest with yourselves, you do this. You did it yourself. The point being is that there's 3 separate things going on over here. You get stopped, you get pissed, you get large, you ignore your setup, you get pissed even more, and then you basically tilt all the way. So the things that I sort of started to do to create a circuit breaker is I get stopped. I do not allow myself to take the next trade until I actually have legitimate setup, which usually gives you 5-10 minutes of cooling off period, and that cooling off period preserves the account, because you're that much farther away from pure huge size getting blown up. And I think that's kind of like, once I kind of figured that out, I started to tilt much less, because it wasn't that my setup wasn't working, the market wasn't cooperating, all that stuff. It was literally that sequence of spiraling down as you're trying to prove yourself right. You're trying to prove that account right, that really, really hurts you. What about you? How are you? It looks like are you setting something up right now?
I just entered into this, so let's see what happens.
Cool. Oh, cool. So this is the break to the downside. All right.
It
cool.
is, and I did have so you can see I'm not. The reason I'm adjusting my take profit is because I did have a good overnight session, which I never do. So I'm like, I don't really want to give it. Like, I don't want to. I just want to add to it. I don't need a big old win.
Right. So maybe before I kind of deconstruct the tilts, just walk us through what this is the opening range break to the downside, 1 minute
Yep.
chart. You took the
Yep.
you took the chart to the downside. You're targeting here about, is it like 10 points, 15 points? I can't
It's
see
like a
this very good.
1650. It's honestly just kind of arbitrary. If I look at
It's yeah.
I look at this, which by the way, pay for this. I just don't.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is terrible. You
this
can
is
hardly see it. The book
yeah,
map.
this is
Book
the
map. So you
what
can see that there's some orders.
I forgot what it's called. This is besides the volume profile. This is, what is the bubbles? I always forget what that's called. It's
Volume.
just volume, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
if I-
called, no, sorry, footprint. Well, I forgot. There's a term for this thing. What you just had it on there. It was called
the order book.
the order book. Maybe that's what it was. It was the order book.
Yeah, but this is the bootlegged version, and it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Yes.
I see.
So that's why I'm saying.
Heat map. Yeah, the
for
order flow heat map. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Do you find it's interesting? You seem to be like sort of a pure price action volume order flow trader. You're just you're looking for all of those clues. Whereas obviously I'm much more of a kind of a indicator trader in terms of how I come at it. Is there a reason why you sort of did you fool around with indicators, find them to be useless, or how did you come to the idea of just sort of trading pure price action? What resonated your way with you?
It's just really easy. It's just like, not, I shouldn't say it's easy. It's just simple. My chart is clean. If there's too many things going on that I need to like confluence together, I just get analysis paralysis, and yes, I'm in BC, John. I can't pull the trigger because not everything is going to line up perfectly. I used to use like RSI and the EMAs and like, what's the word I'm looking for? When they go opposite of each other. Oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bollinger Bands?
No, it starts with a D.
What?
What are they called? Starts with a D. I can't remember. It's like,
No.
the price, the RSI is going up, but the price action is going down.
Oh, divergence.
Thank you. Divergence. And it was like, oh, it's just too much. Much. And it's too complicated. And so I just go in price action. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah,
but
it's Murphy's rule that when you lay down the trade live, it's always going to go against you. It's just it's the nature of this, but it's fine. The market is kind of interesting today. I'm just going to say, just from a macro point of view, guys, today. So we had this huge dive, 100-point dive, right? Everybody freaking out because it was World War III. Of course, it's not World War III when the party loses on the first day of the war, which is kind of like what it seemed like. What I was going to say is basically, the longer Iran doesn't respond, the more it becomes kind of obvious that they killed all their capabilities. And the only macro point of view that's an interesting point of view from us, from an economic point of view, is oil. Oil jumped $10. That's very negative for the economy. It's about 10, 20. It's about 20 basis points for CPI in terms of, it's going to translate into higher inflation if oil stays at this level. But then I posted today, if you guys saw it on Twitter, my thought was, if they really decimated Iran's military operation and Iran now is in sort of a desperate situation, the exact opposite is going to happen. It's just like when Russia went to war with Ukraine, everybody pumped oil up, and then Russia just started selling as much oil as it could to India because they needed the money. I think Iran is going to be in the same situation. They're going to start selling oil under the market price because they need revenue right now. And I think if basically there's little response and oil starts coming off, oil is the key thing to watch here. If it starts coming off the highs, that's actually very net positive for equities. So that's why you see the market coming back towards the 6,000. We'll see how it goes. And of course, Trump is always a wild card, so anything you say can change it in a second. But really, that's where it all kind of stands here. Sorry, what are you saying?
There you go. No, I'm saying I know. That's why it's a bit, he just does one tweet and
because right. Well, you're a little under the water. My goodness, your stop is over in the other end of the range, and you just want it to go, right away, as always, right?
Right. Of course you do.
Of course you do. But and I think it might flip. It looks like gold is turning. What's the Nasdaq is turning. Looks like we did the peak out into the U of M and kind of coming back and unwinding it a little bit, but. the
Yeah.
markets have been really choppy, right? We've really been choppy. This whole week, I found it to be very difficult to trade the opening hour, as we just really had very little direction. How about you?
Yes, definitely. We we had like I said, the big moves were happening later in the afternoon,
Right, which
and
kind of
so there's
sucks,
no
right? Because
rush to enter into things, right?
right, we all want to make money, 9 to 11, and the money is actually to be made 1300 to 1500. Like that's been the sweet spot. Like the 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock New York. That's been the
Yep.
moves.
Yep.
So and that's the other thing is you kind of have to understand when you can get the continuity to move.
Yeah.
So, anyways, oh, no, I just lost my train of thought. I went into this whole macro land, but anyways, I think that's what's going on the macro side as far as things go. That having been said, because we've been so choppy, I don't think we have like clean direction until the market sort of realizes the whole risk has passed, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
Um,
You will definitely see.
yeah.
My stop is above the New York view up. Someone asked that. It's above the New York view up here.
That's about
Daily.
that's the New York VWAP price, which is where she's
Blue.
kind of hanging in there. Hanging in. Now, again, when we're watching the trade, we're always just kind of stomach in knots. What I was going to ask you is I kind of revealed my own tilt process, my own how do I blow accounts. Have you thought through mentally? Have you kind of created a mental map of how is it that you blow up accounts and what is it that you do? Is there a consistent pattern to what you do?
Yes. So thankfully, I don't blow up accounts in like one day. It's just poor. Like I'd say my strategy, like in April, May, my strategy just didn't work. There was just no, like I
There's no
followed all my
continuity.
rules and there's no continuity and it
Right.
didn't work. April for me was a great month, best month I've ever had.
Right.
May was a terrible month. So I actually didn't even lose any accounts. So there's that. It just was a bad month. For me, tilt comes on when I take profit too early, which is silly, or if I miss a move.
Wait,
It's not even a loss.
Can you explain? First of all, let's talk about that. What happens when you take profit too early? How does that create tilt for you?
Because I know that I'm a minority in my trading strategy. It feels like that's the key word there. It's not true.
Yeah.
It feels like I have much less opportunity to capitalize on my strategy. So if I, out of fear, pull my trade too early and miss out on profits, then I get in my head that tomorrow there might not be that opportunity to get short. So I should have taken advantage of it today, and I lose control of my emotions. It's silly because I know that I'm green. I know that I'm in profit.
When you say you lose control of your emotions, does that mean you then increase size into the move? You chase the move, or
I will just overtrade. So I don't chase, I don't oversize, I just overtrade. And our probabilities are, let's say, 50-50 when we get into a trade. We try to get, let's just say, we try and get probabilities in our favor. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But every time we enter a trade, we could win or we could lose. And so the more I enter into trades, the more I'm opening myself up to lose. And so it would be over trading. I would say on a good day, I take 1 to 2 trades. On a bad day, I take 4 to 5.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm going to show you my the back end of this here. I have my when I stream and I have YouTube open, and all my things, my computer is a tiny bit slow. It's not them. So you can see it's loading, but I can see where I'm kind of at. With my accounts.
Yeah.
So
sorry, what was the size? Was that a 1 size? Was it a 3 size on the micros? Which would this trade?
So on my Apex accounts, I'm in 3 micros. On my top 1 futures, I do 10 because they're 150K accounts. And then on my challenges, I do 10.
Okay.
10 to 15.
So 3 and 10s. Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Yeah. It's it was inching your way there.
I know.
Well, it's just this is why I trade for a point, because clearly you have a lot better impulse control than I do. But it's interesting to kind of hear it. So it's basically you're over trading. That was one thing. I'm sorry, and there was a second point that you were saying. So one is where you take profits too early. What was the second variable that kind of puts you on tilt?
So actually there's two. If I miss a move for whatever
FOMO.
reason,
Right.
FOMO, and then the third, honestly, I feel bad saying this, but when my kids get in the way, it's just me
Yeah.
in the morning, and like my husband's out the door at like 6:15 every morning. It's just me doing everything, and if, like, for example, yesterday I could have taken profits and I was making a bottle for my daughter and I dropped the mug and the the
Yeah.
mug shattered everywhere. My 3-year-old son was like, "Mommy, what was that?" Runs in with his bare feet. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's on me. It's totally on me. I could easily reach
Right.
over and close the trade.
Right.
That's on me. But there's just so much going on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I just want to focus. And then that tilts me. Like,
Yeah. No,
when I
that's
just
there's
lose focus.
I think we all get, the thing is, it's like the Chinese water torture, right? The first drop doesn't really hurt you. It's the 10th or the 11th drop. It's not the first stress of the day. It's not the second stress of the day. It's the third or the fourth unexpected stress of the day that just puts you over the top. Like whatever it is, personal problems. Your children, your significant other, whatever, your business partner. Just like a million annoying things that come in after you've already kind of battled with everything else that sometimes will just tilt you back. That's why, by the way, when you're trading geopolitical events, that's like compressed stress in minutes of what happens over days. That's why you tilt so much, during big news events, because the price action is so unpredictable that even none of the thing. I was going to tell you the other thing that I absolutely hate that really pisses me off. I tell you, if you have this, where you're right on the setup but still get stopped out. Like, in other words, you're right on direction, but it just, it spikes you out and then drops you. That's probably one of the more painful ways to get tilted. And you kind of have to really mentally, learn
walk away,
which is really hard, because then you're like, I didn't do anything wrong and the market still killed me, which always seems unfair. But of course, that's just the market. On a technical issue, Sridip, yes, I think these are all dynamically allocated. As you can see, she can allocate any kind of a multiplier that she wants. I mean, obviously, whole number multiplier, right? You can't do half numbers, but whole number multiplier to any account she wants. So she said she's 3 large on Apex, but 10 large on was it top market or whatever?
top one. Because
depending on the size of the account and the size of leverage factor that she has. It's very interesting to see your process versus our process, where we're doing like 10 trades across one account in a matter of an hour versus doing one trade across 10 accounts in a matter of an hour. It's very, very different, very interesting. I'm sure you guys are finding it quite valuable.
Fun.
Hopefully a lot of fun. So question, Black Cat is asking me, what advice do you have, Rebecca, for new entrant to get into a stable advanced stage? I'm trying to understand what you mean by that, but do you mean, Black Cat, that what advice do you have for new entrant, how to get to the funded stage, or how to not tilt? If you're asking what advice do you have for people to learn how not to tilt, I think that's it's very much going to be a long personal journey. You just learn how to tilt less. I don't think it ever leaves you completely, but like the better, the longer you trade, the less you do it, right? Kind of, I think that's all you can take out of it. Life is not about perfection; it's about process. There's a lot of Canadians in the room today, man. I didn't realize there's a lot of BC people here.
I love that.
Oh my God, yeah,
I love that. I will say though, for someone who's like just starting out, something I would say is enter, strategy hop, find something that works for you. When you think that you have something that works for you, you do one micro, set your stop loss and your take profit, and let the entire trade play out. because the more you watch your trade play out, the more you'll understand where it could go. The more time you have on the chart, you get used to seeing certain type of price action. You get more confident in your trades. But if you're entering, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, close, like you're just you lose control of your emotions. So size as small as you can, which is 1 micro. Don't have a payout as a goal, and watch your trades play out. That's a piece of advice.
Absolutely. It's great advice, and I would also add to that if you're using like a journal like TradeZella, do 1 micro for if you're starting out for like 20 days, or if you're scalping with me, do 10 of those trades a day for 20 days to build just to build a record. It's not there to prove to you that you're winning or losing. It's just to create data, so you could look at the data and say, this is what's been happening. This is why it's been. It helps you really analyze and step back and understand what you're doing from that perspective. Look at this. You're getting green, baby.
I'm debating on just pulling it, to be honest.
Pull it. But me, if it was me, I'd be like, fuck it, hit it out. It's Friday. Let's get out. Let's take profits. You clearly have a lot better impulse control than I do. But very, very nice to see.
I'll get out.
There you go. See, I guarantee you'll go lower, but I don't care.
There you go. I'm out.
Yeah, that's good for you. No, it's you want it. The other thing is, of course it's going to go low. But you want it to be. I want it. See, like this is the thing. It's actually interesting psychologically. Okay, this is a good question because everybody's.
Oh my gosh!
It's always Rebecca. Inevitably, if you listen to me, it will always go longer and deeper. I'm always exiting early. It's just a rule of thumb. But here's the thing. What are you upset more about? And maybe this is where you're probably very different from me. I'm never upset about losing potential profit. I'm always much more upset about getting having profit turn into a loss. What are you more upset about? If I'm green because I've taken a trade and I've closed that trade and I'm green, and then I enter another one and I lose that profit, that makes me mad. If I watch a trade play out according to my rules and it's in profit and then reverses and I get stopped up, I'm okay with that. Interesting. See, I would be pissed with that. So I'm much more okay with taking profit early and seeing, okay, I left $1,000 on the table. All right, I don't give a shit. Tomorrow's another day. I'm much less emotionally upset about that than I am about, I was plus 900, now I'm minus 1,000 because the trade didn't hit my target and went all the way the other. I'm much more and happier about that situation. But everybody's different. That's what makes trading so good. You clearly have much better impulse control than I do. Thank you. I mean, it's also a Friday. Yeah, I'm like, Friday. Exactly. Again, I had like a overnight session of like 30, how much was it? $34,000, I think, overnight on the news drop across all my accounts. Right. So I'm like, why? I don't want to risk 4,000, Right. No, it's so let's save this to journal later. And there you go. Now I can take it away. And there we go. Good job. Lee is asking, do you backtest? How do you gain confidence in your strategy? No, I don't. I mean, okay. I review, I journal. It's a great answer. I'm super against backtest, but that's a great answer. It's actually the answer I'm going to start using, which is that I don't backtest, I review, which is what you should really be doing. Mm-hmm. A backtest is a lie. It's always a lie, and it's the worst kind of a lie. It's the lie that makes you think you know something when in fact you don't. And I'll tell you why. I mean, I don't want to get into all the deep complexity of statistics, but basically, a backtest only tells you that it worked in the past. You're always trading the past. The future is never the same as the past. And because it's never the same, that's why, how many times have you seen back tested results end in losses? Pretty much 100% of the time. Is there ever a system that you've been presented with back tested results that when you put it to use, it actually worked as promised for more than a month or two before it completely went sideways and lost everything that it was supposed to gain? Name me one system in the history of mankind that's ever done that. And that's very much because back tests are a lie. They are a false sense of confidence because people love to have the desperate need for control is what creates this this thirst for a back test result. So it's a great answer that you don't back test your review. You want to review what you've done to see how durable and robust it is in the current market environment. That's sorry, I didn't mean to trample over you, but that's just my own little rant on back tests.
No, that's okay. And also, like, along the same kind of line of what you're saying, backtesting includes zero emotional aspects. Like,
Right.
you can look back and say, "Oh, I would have done that." Sure, of course I would have. But in the real time, would you have?
Right.
Because now you have your emotions, your know, which play a huge role in your trading. So
Right.
so no, I don't. I do use Edgeful. I don't know if anyone's heard of Edgeful. I do use Edgeful to look at stats. So Edgeful, in a nutshell, you can search up. They have different reports. So you can look up gap fills. You can look up, like, I'm just going to name things: midnight price retracement, the previous day's point of control retracement. You can look up the double break of the 15-minute opening range. You can look up the double break of the initial balance opening and opening high and low, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can determine the amount of time that you look at this likelihood of these things to happen, and you can filter it by size and things like that, blah, blah, blah. And I use that to help me kind of understand historically what has happened in the market. In terms of reviewing every day, I used to journal every single day, and I would say now I journal on a weekly basis, but I post and review my trades either by video or just by post on my Twitter every day. And I just don't have time to do both, to be honest. Don't have time to, like, personally journal and post it for the public. So I just post it, then I review at the end of the week.
Got it.
Mhm.
How are you? There's 5 trading days in a week, one setup per day. On a general, like in the month of June, because I know April was very, very tough. No, May was very, very tough. In the month of June, how many of those days, out of 5 trading days, how many days have been green? Has it been like 4 out of 5? Looks like it's been that way.
I can share.
Okay. Here's TradeZilla.
There you
Yeah. So this is like actually a very real structure. I mean, the first week was horrible. June was just freaking horrible. But then,
Yes.
she fights the green. So let me ask you something. Why, like, are you trading 1-to-1, like, where's your, like, how is the P&L asynchronous? In other words, how are the greens bigger than the reds? Is it just there's a couple of more trades, or is it each individual trade is actually, when it hits, is more positive than each individual loss?
Well, as you can see, not all red days are but you mean like up here, right? This is what you mean?
Yeah. So your profit factor is 1-3, right? Okay, that's what I was kind of looking
which
at.
is okay.
Actually,
It's not great.
look at you. You literally are 50%. You literally are. You're sort of 50% win, but you just have that slight edge on P&L. That's what this is showing, basically. You're just, when you hit those winners, they're just bigger than the losers, and that slight edge is what pays for all my. Oh shit! I'm missing my trade. Here we go. Let's go. Let's trade this. So yeah, that's very interesting. What is the?
I'm up on the month.
What's the dispersion over there between the reds and the greens, where it's all like? It's hard to see. What is that
the
showing?
Time of day.
Oh, time of day. So what is that time of day like, where all the clusters are? Is that the opening of New York?
Yes, that would be. I mean, it must be, right? What is the? Yeah.
Okay.
Is this in my time? No. Yes. Yep.
Is it New York time or is it New York time?
I don't know why it's saying 4 p.m. because I definitely don't trade at 4 p.m. You know what? This is still on the time zone. Oh, my son's awake. He's gonna come into the room.
Oh.
Come in here, honey. It's when you lived in Europe. Sorry, he woke up. This is mom life.
Yeah, no.
Hold on one second.
It's definitely, we totally get it. You can bring him in. He can say hi to us.
Yelling at me. Hold on one second.
No, go ahead.
No,
Yeah, you need to step away. Be my guest. It's fine. Let us step away. I'm gonna actually show you my stuff, guys. I want to show you what I just did right now. So while Rebecca takes care of it, it's really interesting, right? I mean, it's just kind of so Martin, if I get a chance to come, if she comes back, I'll ask her. That's a good question. That's great. I will say this, Martin, for you. And I think I wonder if everybody agrees. After you crack your first one, maybe your second one, it actually, the momentum, like you go from like losing 20 accounts in a row, 30 accounts in a row, you make one, and then the next time it's only maybe 10-1, and then the next ratio is like 7-1 in terms of, burning accounts to getting funded, right? You definitely, it's not geometric, but it's definitely you start to see improvement, in terms of ratio of burning accounts. And sometimes you go back, like look, guys, last night I burned 3 accounts, but all because I know it was actually very valuable. I burned 3 accounts, but what it did is it really crystallized to me what is it that I'm doing in that particular moment. And since this morning, I've been trading great. You can see you see me like on the well charts accounts. Of course, I'm trading pretty well too here on all our scalping. I think like in many ways, it's much more important to figure out what's the algorithm, what's the strategy for losing the account, because the strategy for winning the account is pretty obvious. We all know it. But what is your strategy for losing the account? We all have it. It's just implicit in us, and we need to make it explicit to us. Once you understand your strategy for losing the account, what is the behavior pattern you do all the time that creates the losses? It's a lot easier to control them. Hey, you're back, huh?
I am. I'm gonna have to say goodbye.
Yeah. Oh,
but thank you for having me on.
Oh, look at us, sweetie. Hey, baby. Anyways, Rebecca, thank you so much. What a
thank you for having me.
Guest. Everybody go follow her at Rebecca Trades. She's got a great setup. You saw her beautiful setup. She made money for you guys if you guys followed you. Thank you so much. We'll hope to see you again, Rebecca. Have a great
Thank you.
day.
And feel free to message me if you have questions and stuff. I'm happy to chat with anybody. So
yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you again. Thank you for your
everyone.
time. We'll
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so we didn't get a chance to ask her, but Martin, I hope you get a good idea of like what is the what's the ratio of like sort of good to bad, stuff like that. Anyways, let's do, before I go, this is the first, I want to just get a feedback from you guys. Did we like this? Was this fun? Should we do it every Friday? Now, next week, everybody who's listening to me, by the way, you guys know we're going away to, here's the poll. Give me a vote on the poll. We're going to Cyprus to the IFX Expo, so no lives at all next week, guys. I may be able to do one from Europe. If I do, I'll post it on our channel. So obviously, make sure to subscribe to the BK Traders channel for all the latest news and my streams. But yeah, come on in, guys. And when we come back the week after that, we'll definitely do it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really liked, the Friday special guest. Sounds like it was really a lot of fun. Everybody really enjoyed it. Yeah, good. Let me see what my poll is saying. Oh, just all 100%. Now, this is the first 100% poll I've had. Anyways, while we're talking, just kind of, I've been quietly, scalping over here, and just to let you guys see this historically. You see me. I was trading all we're trading, which we talked about this yesterday, and we'll talk about this never ending. The setup that I am sort of super comfortable with is, remember we talked about there's 3 components to our trade: trend, momentum, and slope. So you have positive trend when you have the blue over the red, negative trend when you have blue under the red. Positive momentum is green dots, and slope is lower green dot, higher green dot, right? And the general philosophy that we used to kind of go with was that trend was number 1, momentum was number 2, slope was number 3. And I have completely rearranged that order in the way that I want to trade. So I have flipped everything around to the following thing. The most important thing is slope. I got to have lower, higher. If I got a straight slope to the upside, that's what I want. That's number 1. Momentum is number 2. So obviously, green momentum, I want to go there. And trend is actually the least important. I've actually sort of, as you notice, I was short here against the positive trend, long here. The long here's obviously we're in positive trend, but I could have easily been, short here. This would have been another good short. We just didn't have a chance here. 2 red dots. This is negative slope. Being short here, boom, would have also been money. So that's my process these days. Is I actually flipped it around. That the single from a short-term scalping day trading, let's hit those multiple winning trades in a day structure. The most important thing is slope, the rising rise or falling fall. The second most important thing is momentum, and the third least important thing is actually trend. So I think you'll find that very, very interesting as we continue to trading. Certainly today, today's my results were just all winners with me talking to Rebecca and just whenever I catch a move trading it. So John says, will we survive a week without Boris? I'm sure you will do fine. I'm sure you'll do fine. So great. I'm really, really glad. This is where I'm glad that you like the authenticity. That's what I want to have real traders doing real stuff. And I'll be happy to, we'll arrange some good interviews, both from like ex-professional traders and just retail traders and everything else. If you want to suggest names for me that you guys want me to interview, let me know. I'll be happy to try to see if we can get them on the channel and talking. Okay. If you want the trading system, my friend, just join us. It's very, very easy. I'm gonna put a link in here. The best way to get everything from BK is just this link over here. And everybody, go out there and get Apexes. So, I think the interesting thing to take away, by the way, and this is like another thing. This is why I love Apex so much. Is you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I'd rather them be cheap mistakes. What's great about Apex is every mistake is really cheap. Imagine if I tilted on Tradeify yesterday at 4 accounts, it would have been $1,200 versus $80. And I don't know if I would have been able to control my emotions and say, oh, I burnt this account. And I would have been more furious and just kept going, just like a degenerate gambler at Vegas. Bet on red, bet on black, bet on black, bet on black until you bust. It's really, to me, the greatest aspect of it is obviously great platform, very, very smooth execution. All the usual shit is fine, but it's the fact that our mistakes are so cheap because we're going to make mistakes. The key thing is I don't want to be paying for them. So it was great. I really mentally retilted myself, like I was it rebalanced my chakras, into a much better mental frame of mind. You see me trading this morning. You see, I don't even want to show you my funded accounts. My other accounts doing really well after I kind of recalibrated myself. So, like in many ways, the best thing that happened to me yesterday was I tilted really hard off the Israel-Iran news to only deconstruct exactly step by step my strategy to failure, so that I can then correct it and make it much better. So hopefully you guys have a good time with it. That's it. I'm looking at comments here. Thank you guys. Everybody who has asked me, who has gotten the Pro Pak package and has asked me to enable wealth charts, you should be all enabled on it. If you're not for any reason, simply email me. But remember, the way you know you're enabled is you click over here. You go to you don't go over here. I'll give you the wrong. This is how you know you're enabled. You go into the chart, you go to add indicators, you go into the marketplace, more indicators, you watch Boris Schlossberg. And if you have my BK scalper in there, that means you are enabled. Okay, that's how you know you have my indicator. Okay, guys. So everybody have a great week. I will see everybody the week after. Enjoy, stay strong, and have fun, guys. Thank you so much. It was a great session. Everybody really had a fun time. I really enjoyed doing the interview. We'll bring more people on. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye bye. Thank you.